everyone and welcome back. So as we have been doing, and I told you that we were doing present tense, and I said that every day we would be picking one by one. That is what we have been doing. We've started with present tense and we did present simple, we did present continuous, perfect. Now it's turn for perfect continuous tense, right? So we would be doing how to use or how to put it in pattern, the pattern, exact pattern for present perfect continuous tense. Okay, the pattern, the negative structures, how would you frame a sentence with this, and why do we use it? What is the meaning of a sentence if this type of tense comes up? Okay, so without wasting time, you can see the structure or the pattern clearly here. Has or have plus been plus verb's fourth form plus since or for. Now what does this mean and why are we defining it like is present perfect continuous? The reason is when I say has or have, that is for present. When I say be in its third form, that's perfect. And when I say V4, we've done it in introduction of verbs, so it is ing form of verb. Okay, so it shows continuous. That is present perfect continuous. Now guys, those who haven't taken sessions prior to this, there was introduction to tenses, there was present simple, there was present continuous, there was present perfect. If you haven't taken the previous sessions, please do it first and then only you would be able to understand it, or at least do introduction to tenses first. Okay, to understand what is V4, to understand what is V3, to understand what are the forms of verbs. Now this shows an action or present. It here means present perfect continuous tense. It shows an action that started in past and is still in continuation. I will make a timeline here. This is the present tense. This is present. Not this is the present tense, but this is present scenario. This we are going in past. This is past. Okay. Now this is present, this is past. Now what do I do? For example, if an action started here, it started here, it went in continuation, it was continuous, and I am in present. For 10 years something is happening. For let's say it has been 10 years that I have been teaching. So I would say I have been teaching for 10 years. I have been teaching for 10 years. Now the moment I come here, these are 10 years, and today also I am teaching. I have not stopped, so it means the action is still in continuation. Okay, so when I say present perfect continuous tense, it means that it shows an action that started in past and is still in continuation at present. Okay, let's look at the example. The example says I have been learning English for 2 months. Have been learning English for 2 months, which means for 2 months you were learning English, but now also you are working on it. You haven't stopped. The action has not stopped. It is still in continuation. Okay, that is what we mean by present perfect continuous tense. Okay, let's have a look at another example. It says my neighbor has been fighting over parking since yesterday. Since yesterday. So has been fighting. That is, has is because we have used neighbor, which is singular. Have because I ke saath we always use have, and had it been something some plural. If I use here neighbors, I will write have. My neighbors have been. Okay, so has been or have been plus ing form shows that we're talking about present perfect continuous tense. Now Another thing to note here, guys, another thing to note here is this. In first sentence, I have used for 2 months. And in second sentence, I have used since yesterday. What is the difference? Why have I done this? Why have I done it? The reason I have used since here and for here is that if you are talking about duration, let's say 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 years, 5 days, 10, 12 hours, okay? If you are talking about duration, then you have to use for. This is what? This is period of time. Duration is the period of time. But if you know the point of time, if you know the exact time, point of time, okay? If you know, or I can also say if you know the exact time, okay, then you will be using what? You will be using since. For example, if I say 5 p.m. he has been fighting since 5 p.m. He has been fighting over parking since 5 p.m. I know the exact time. I will make use of since. I will not make use of for, because for comes when I talk about period of time. That is when I talk about some duration, okay? Like here, for example, 2 months. Getting my point? So this is one learning point that you have to bear in mind while you frame sentences for present perfect continuous. Now this tense doesn't have much use. This is the only use. This is just one use that this tense has, this one. That an action started in past and is still in continuation. That is it. If you understood this, there is nothing much to do. Okay, for example, Mr. Gupta has been working in our organization for 3 weeks. Has been working for 3 weeks, matlab 3 weeks passed and he's still working there. He has not resigned. He has not left. Okay, still in continuation. So again and again I am emphasizing. The reason I am emphasizing again and again is because in case of past perfect continuous, it would be completely different. Okay, that day when we do past perfect continuous, I will make a reference to this tense again, and we will surely see why we had to emphasize this much to actually understand the difference between these two tenses. Okay, all right. So this is about present perfect continuous. Now if you have to frame negative for it, then you just have to add not. Have not been working, has not been working, that's it. Meaning is same, it will just change to negative. Okay, so you just have to make use of hasn't or haven't plus been plus ing. So for example, if I take here, we have been living in Delhi for 5 years, okay, which means we are still living in Delhi. We have been living in Delhi for 5 years, and for 5 years, not since 5 years, because that's duration. For 5 years, guys. And when I say I have been living, which means I'm still there. I have not left. I'm still living in Delhi only. I have not left this place. I am still living in Delhi. Okay. Now, if I have to, as I have given here, if I have to frame a negative structure for it, what do I do? So if you want to, or if you wish to frame a negative structure, you don't have to do anything. I have not been living in Delhi for 5 years. So it will be I haven't, okay, I haven't been living in Delhi for 5 years. I have not been living. People who make use of not here, they do blunder. I have seen people saying, I heard people saying, I have been not living in Delhi for 5 years. I have been not doing it. I have been not eating it. I have been not using your phone. That is wrong. All these frames are wrong. Not will come immediately after the helping verb. That is have. First helping verb, because been here is again a helping verb for us. Alright. Now, if I take another example, okay, another example says, he has been arguing for a few chocolates. He has been arguing for a few chocolates since yesterday or since last week. He has been arguing over chocolates since last week, since last night. Since last night. Okay? He has been arguing for a few chocolates since last night. Now, when I say has been arguing, means it started last night but is still in continuation. He's still been arguing with me, okay, for those chocolates. So the argument started last night, still in continuation today at present, which means we will be making use of present perfect continuous, because an action that started in past and is still in continuation in present makes use of has, have plus been plus ing. And without since or for, the sentence would be incomplete. That's why I immediately wrote here since last night, because that was missing here. Okay, so since last night, now the sentence is completed. Because see, an action that started in past, you have to mention for how long in past the action has come into being. For how long has it been running? That is the main question here. Okay, so you have to give the time clause to make reference. Without reference, how will the tense work? So we need reference when we talk about perfect continuous tenses. That's important. We need references. Okay? Alright. Now, if I say, have you been working here for 3 years? When I question this, I ask this lady in the picture, I meet her and I ask her, have you been working here for 3 years? Now see, nothing much to do, nothing much to change. What have we done? We have just changed these two places. You have been working here for 3 years, full stop, changes to have you been working here for 3 years with a question mark. This is the maximum change that we have done. We have changed the place of subject and the helping verb. That is it. Right? We have just changed the place of subject and the helping verb. So, anytime, anyway we have to make use of this, what will you be doing? You would be studying this order using has, have first, subject later on, then been, and then fourth form of verb with a question mark. Okay, you have to use fourth form of verb with a question mark there, right there. Alright. Now, example that I have taken for you here, I have taken, has he been watching TV for 3 hours? Now, if you inform your father, okay, about you complain, see, we all used to do, as siblings, we all used to do this. We used to complain about our siblings to our parents about, okay, he is not doing this, or he is doing this, or he is not working on this, or he is working on this. So we used to crib and complain a lot. Okay, so that is what I am trying to tell you here. We used to say he has been watching TV for 3 hours and not studying. Now here, when I say, just change the position, places of he and has. So the question becomes, has he been watching TV for 3 years? Question mark. Father asks you, has he been watching television for 3 years? And you, because you want your sibling to be scolded or thrashed, you are, yes, dad, he has been watching television for 3 hours. Later, what happens to you, that is different. But yes. Okay, so it can be given in simple sentence if you are telling it to someone. It can be given in question sentence if you want to ask someone. But you have to be aware of the helping verb and the subject that you use. Because in question sentences, helping verbs come first and subject falls later. Another example that we have is this. Have the employees been achieving their targets since 2017? Now, let's say the manager is worried. Your manager wants to know that whether the employees of my organization or the other employees, they have been achieving the targets or not. So he's asking, have the employees been achieving their targets since 2017? Means from 2017 till now. See, this is past, no? This is past. This is 2017. And we are in 2019. And we are in 2019. So when I am talking about 2019, okay? So when I'm talking 2019, see, since 2017, the action should have started. Until now, they should be achieving their targets. So I'm asking, have they been, or have the employees been achieving their targets since 2017? It can be yes, they have been achieving. It can be no, they haven't been achieving, or they have not been achieving their targets since 2017. Okay, so it becomes simple, but only if you keep on grabbing it, if you keep on working onto it, then it becomes simple. Otherwise, no. So you see, it is easy to understand. If I talk about present simple, we did 3 uses of present simple. If I talk about present continuous, I did 1 use of present continuous. The major use in your daily conversation, when to use when an action is in continuation. Okay, present perfect, again major use with proper examples. Keep on revising. If you want to be fluent, if you want to put these patterns in use, guys, please start following the order. Please study the order, study this order and start working on it. Keep going for it and you will never face any difficulty then. Okay, and same goes for present perfect continuous. I did the major usage and I have explained you well with the timeline. So do not forget, if you wish to frame the timeline in your notebook, you can make present and past and draw that timeline in your notebook. You will never forget it. Okay, so I shall see you in the next session and I shall discuss with you for the past tense, I suppose, because present tense is done. Okay, we would take up your other points to discuss. In case of present tense, if something is left, I'll cover that. Otherwise, I would move on to past. If I feel like sharing something that is again important in present tense, we would do that. Otherwise, we'll be starting with past tense. Thank you so much and keep learning and growing. Keep working on these structures. Try to speak in English with using these structures. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.